So usually when we talk about social or emotional development, so many things come into play. So I hear people say things like, what if my child is an introvert? What if my child's personality is such that they don't want to do this or do that? And I say introvertism is different from having good social skills. Someone who is an introvert should have very good social skills. Someone who is an extrovert that we think that, oh, it's so easy for them to talk with people, may have very, very bad social skills. For instance, if you say your child is an extrovert and your child cannot read the room, just burst into a room, is all over the place, is talking, that is not having good social skills. Your child is rowdy and noisy, and trust me, most people will not like that child. And some people don't even care if people like their child anyway, but it's important. And that's not to say we want to raise pleasers, but then it is important for your child to be in a place where they do not attract unnecessary criticism and hatred to themselves. Now, how do we teach those things? Parents are the best models for teaching children certain things under emotions. And in emotions, we cannot talk about emotions without talking about empathy. Empathy is huge when we talk about emotions. Just the way emotional intelligence is a talk. I tell my children, you must learn to be emotionally intelligent, not just intelligence quotient or communication intelligence. There is need to be emotionally intelligent. And I think every parent should look at that, because in emotional intelligence, we are looking at self-awareness, where the child understands, this is who I am. These are my triggers. This is my personality. These are the things I like. These are the things I do not like. That way, the child even understands how to say, put boundaries and say, no, I do not want this. Then social awareness. Can your child read the room? Can your child come into the place and know, okay, this is not the time to crack this joke? Can your child know that this person is distressed from this thing I'm saying? Can your child know that my sibling is not in the right frame of mind? Can the child even read your mood as a parent? These are things we are looking at. Then we are looking at self-regulation. Can your child, even though they are upset, how can they regulate their emotions and say, not just when I'm upset, so if I think I want to push down this lamp, I push it down, I want to punch someone. But the children are observing us. What do we do with our own emotions as parents? When your child pisses you off, what do? Adults throw tantrums. So let me go the very Naija way. So you hear parents say things like, let me tell you, you will not kill me. After all, I did not kill my mother. I will not allow you to kill me. Excuse me, you are throwing tantrums. That's tantrums. That's you like, you're not in a battle with your child. So what's with the shouting? But does it mean that children cannot drive us to the wall? Yes, your child can drive you to the wall. You literally want to scream and bring down the house. But then remember, you are modeling, what do you do with your frustrations? So if I'm frustrated and I bang my fist on the table, I am saying to the child, guy, this is what you do when you are frustrated. Bang your fist, shout, scream. If I am having a bad day and I come back from work and everybody is in trouble because I have just had a bad day, transferred aggression, the children learn, okay, this is what should be done. When somebody has pissed me off outside, I bring it home. How do you show empathy? What do you say when people are distressed? Your children are listening. If we take our mind back, some of the things we heard from our parents growing up, it's not because they sat down with us and say, come, let me tell you what's happening in church. Did you hear that Sister Juliana is pregnant? No, our parents didn't do that. We picked those things from setting the table, running errands. So your mom is having a conversation with her friend and you are picking the cues. You are picking, is there sympathy? Is there ridicule? Is there empathy? Is there kindness? Is there judgment? Is there criticism? Take your mind back. Everyone. That was how we picked the things happening. So as we heard our parents talk about things in their environment, not just that we are picking what was happening, we are picking from our parents the emotion around what was happening. So for instance, somebody's child in church, a teenage girl, gets pregnant. How does your parent discuss it? with excitement, with judgment. So you are picking it. Trust me, as you are speaking those things, or something on television, oh, good for them, they don't deserve pity. Your child is watching, your child is listening, your child is forming things around them to say, no, this world is not a place where we should show pity or sympathy or empathy. So when another child is distressed, what does your child do? Walk away? Some children don't even notice. And as parents, what should we do to help our children? So your child comes back and says to you, oh, mama, somebody in class today, while she was singing her song, her shirt tore. So we should ask questions like, oh, that we must say things that show our own emotion. So what do you say? Wow, the mom is to be blamed, judgment. Or you laugh, child is speaking it. But things like, oh gosh, that must have been very embarrassing for your friend. Your child picks it, empathy. That feeling that says, if I was in that person's shoes, this is exactly how I would feel. Then the next question, you ask your child, what did you do when that happened? If your child goes, nothing, it's not my shirt that's all, then that is a window for you to teach your child empathy and kindness. How would you want your friend to treat you if it had happened to you? If your child said, everybody in the class was laughing, I didn't want to be different, so I laughed with everybody in the class, what would be your response? Oh, well, they are children now. Children will laugh. It's not that deep. So we are modeling all those things to our children by the things we do with our own lives, with the people around us, and by the things we intentionally do with them. So I would say this, when your children are talking to you, please listen. Please listen. Oftentimes, parents or caregivers, we just listen with this, children must talk. But it's important for us to be intentional, because when children are talking to us, they are sharing their day with us. They are telling us what they did, and they want to hear to know what we have to say. That's how the learning takes place. And let's not just be the people who just say things and say, do as I say, but not as I do. Let our children see us show empathy to those people around us. Show love, show kindness, show consideration. When children see that, trust me, they will learn it. When it becomes a value in your family, the children will learn it. When it becomes a value in your classroom, the children will learn it. We know that in life, no matter what, whether you're a parent, a child, a spouse, whoever you are, balance is difficult to achieve. Usually we are always tilting towards extremes. It's easier to go from one extreme to the other. So now this is what I see as regards parenting. So we are coming from the generation of our parents who were on the other extreme, the extreme of a child is seen, not heard. A child must not say anything when there are adults. In fact, we have cultures where you don't look at me when I'm scolding you, as in a parent is saying to a child, how dare you look at me when I'm talking to you? So we have moved from that extreme where we felt like our parents were very hard and aggressive. They did not allow us to express, and this is why we are the way we are today. And then we now move to the other extreme where children are now the CEOs. They are the tyrants. They dictate everything. In fact, parents have taken the back seat and children lead the way. So that is another extreme. So how do we start moving from extremes to find a kind of balance that works? Will I say that our parents' time, everything they did was bad? Definitely not. There were so many things to learn from our parents. And if we are truthful, some of the, in quotes, hardness we felt our parents had over us, it's what made us today. We are resilient people. We are tough. In the face of adversity, we keep rising. We say to ourselves, we don't have to crumble. We have to do this, because somewhere at the back of our minds, you keep hearing your father's voice echoing, why have you not done your homework, and stuff like that. So you stand up, you move. So everything they have done, it's not bad. So many lessons to learn from them. Then would we say that some of the parenting we are doing today is also 100% bad? No, because right now we are learning to allow children to be themselves, to express, to be able to speak up their minds. We are listening more, and we are trying to be there for them, some. So, but how do we pull these things and come into a balance? For instance, where you have your child who is not doing so well in school, how do you create that balance of, I want to challenge my child to do better, but at the same time, I do not want to break the spirit of my child. So you want to show empathy, you want to show support, but at the same time, you want to be firm. You don't want to be the parent who will say, oh, well, whenever you are ready, I'm ready. No, because that doesn't work. The different parenting styles will teach us that. So what do we do? So first of all, I think empathy is key, even as a parent. So you ask yourself, how would I feel if I was my child? So sometimes when I have parenting conferences or teachers' conference, I hear parents and teachers say, in our own days, we did not do this. In our own days, we love that phrase, in our own days kind of phrase. But then, especially for the teachers, I asked the teachers, I said, now let's go down memory line. So I'm now talking for people in my generation, the Gen X. I said, growing up, did you have DSTV? And then, nope. Was there Netflix? Nope. Was there social media? No. Were there smartphones? No. In fact, we waited till 4 p.m. for NTA to bring up those striped something on the screen. And then there is the national anthem. And then there is all of those things. By 7 p.m., everything child is... So, in quotes, it's not necessarily because we were more disciplined. We didn't have options. There were no options. In my house, there was the landline thing, so which my father would lock. So I didn't even have the option to know, oh, was I a disciplined teenage girl not to be on my phone? So we didn't have those options. So what does it do for us today? Am I saying that we should begin to excuse our children? Of course not. There is a place for us to teach them discipline, to exercise self-control. But then, should there be a place for empathy to know that today's young person is dealing with a lot more distraction than we did in our own time? There are lots of distraction. There is the distraction of the smartphone. So if you say, oh, I'm not giving my children phones, what about the laptops? They need the laptops. From the laptops, distraction. Okay, what about television? We never had a 24/7 television. From 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Whether you liked it or not, we are out. But today, cartoons, all kinds of programs run 24/7. So what should it do for us as parents? Empathy. The understanding that there is more struggle to keep focus than we had in the past. That is empathy. Does it mean you are going to pat your child at the back and say, I know there is Netflix, just, take your time? No, it starts with the empathy. There is distraction. Even we as parents, we are even finding it difficult to maintain focus in the face of the 1 million WhatsApp groups you belong to. So there is the empathy to know there are lots of distraction. There is a lot of pressure on today's young person. I counsel a lot of teenagers. At 19, a teenager is already telling you, I'm giving up. I've tried. My mates have started a company. At 20, somebody has started a fintech. And I'm like, what? At this age? I think I was still trying to write JAMB. In fact, I can't remember. And I didn't have all the pressures of starting a what? A company? How? So you talk to 25-year-olds, 27-year-olds, you're counseling them. Somebody I know, 24, he's already giving up on life. And like, why are you giving up on life? I've started this business, it didn't work. My mates have achieved it. So where is all that coming from? Social media, the pressure, the fast life that social media throws at us, that makes you feel that once you are 30 and you have not achieved X, Y, Z, you are gone, you are off. Those are the pressures that we need to understand that these people are dealing with. So we have that empathy. Because when we show empathy, when we have it from our hearts, we are not pretentious about it, it affects our communication with the child. It affects how we engage. It affects what we say. So we're not saying things like, so the person that had 5 A's in your class, do they have 2 heads? The person that scored this thing, are you telling me that that person that was chosen for that competition, are their parents paying more school fees? So we don't see those kind of conversations or communication. We don't see parents looking down at their children. We don't see comparisons. Comparisons like, in our own days, I came first. Of course, every parent came first in their own days. In our own days, I came first. So why are you not coming first? We don't see those things. Instead, we are seeing things like, how can I help you? What are the issues here? You're sitting with your child. You are showing that empathy. I know that there is a lot of pressure. I know that, in fact, I visited my friend, and her daughter, who is 10, is in secondary school and is doing 18 subjects. Like 18. 18, not 8. And the girl is already exasperated. So if I were to sit with that girl, I would be like, I know there is a lot of pressure. I know that you have to do the Lagos traffic. You are getting home by 5 p.m. and you have to do all these assignments. And the next question is, how can I help you? There is nothing demeaning in asking our children genuinely as a parent, how can I help you? How can I support you? Now, the help here is not come and do my homework for me, or just go online and download everything for me. So that way it opens up conversations. Your child is saying their frustrations to you. You are listening to the frustration, and then you are providing support. You are working together with the child to say, okay, I think that you go to bed by this time, you start to study by this time, we are going to check online for this information, we are going to do this research. I think you need an additional help. Maybe we should get a lesson teacher or something. That conversation is going on. What it does for the child psychologically is that the child starts to feel loved and supported and not demeaned. And a child who feels loved and supported will thrive to do better, because confidence just arises in them. Then how can we be firm? So even in that conversation, if you think your child is dealing with laziness, lack of self-control, in that conversation, you say to your child, this is what is going to happen. We are going to set up a timetable. We are going to put a structure to your schedule. This is going to be your structure, your wake-up time, what you are going to do. How then do you introduce firmness? You are the parent. You are not the child's friend. A parent is in control, a parent is in charge, but then providing that environment that makes the child feel loved. There are going to be consequences. There are ground rules and there are consequences. So your child knows from the word go that while we are putting up this structure, because I am not doing so well in class, and here is my mom or my dad trying to support me, has shown me empathy, my parent loves me, wants me to succeed. However, they are not pushovers though. So it just means that in this whole thing, there is a structure. In this whole thing, there are ground rules. In this whole thing, there are consequences. So the consequence, depending on the age of the child, is communicated. So the child knows that when I should be doing my homework and I'm found watching Netflix, there are consequences. So that depends on the parents to pick. But of course, the consequence should be something that affects the child in a way that you are not reinforcing that behavior. If you are reinforcing the behavior, then you are not achieving that. That way, there is a balance. So there is a balance of empathy. There is a balance of support and love. And there is a balance of firmness. So your child does not learn to become manipulative and then goes, oh, I'm tired. So the child understands. The communication is clear. Because what happens is the child is not doing so well in school. A parent goes to the other extreme of flogging, spanking, shouting, bullying, threatening. Or the other extreme of, well, they are still children, it's not their fault. When I was even their age, I was not doing as well. And whichever extreme doesn't do well for the child. So it's important to find that healthy balance.